Hi everyone, welcome to the third module of strategic management, and I'm excited to have you here. And we've looked at introduction to strategic management. We've also looked at goal setting and objectives. So today we'll be looking at considering external factors in your business operations. And why is this important? Let me take you back to memory lane, to Titanic. Even though it was the biggest and the safest ship at the time, when it collided with that iceberg, what did the captain do to make an announcement that this ship was going to sink? And just like you see in movies, with aeroplanes, with ships, with anything, when it's about to be an accident that they know about, they inform you why. So that you can take measures within your control, so that you can maybe take a position, maybe sit down in your seat and not stand up, maybe, do a lot of things that would help you or help your chances of survival. And that's why we're bringing this. As a business owner, you need to understand how the external affects your internal. Today we'll be discussing about the personal analysis framework for analyzing your external factors. So we have the P, we have the E, we have the S, we have the T, we have the E and L. P stands for political, E stands for economical, S stands for social, T stands for technology, the other E stands for ecological, and the last but not the least stands for legal. Now let's look at how each of this will affect your business on a regular basis. The first and the most critical, which is P, political, looks at how government policies, how government tenures affect your business. Now let's take a look at a government that is focused on agriculture. It will probably affect some other industries, but those within the agricultural space are going to enjoy that tenure. There will most probably be government interventions, funding, support programs, banning of imported products, just so that the industry can go. But what happens after 8 years? Or what happens after 4 years if that government is no longer in power? How do you navigate? How do you stay afloat? Even if you have governments that has different visions about the country, that is political. The next is E, which stands for economic. The state of a country's economy or a society's economy at every given point in time would affect the businesses. Now let's look at inflation. If you buy something today at 1,000 naira, and by the time you're buying it the next time it's at 1,200 naira as cost price, your selling price will automatically increase, which will also reduce demand and reduce your sales and reduce the profit margin. Can you see how it affects you? The next is exchange rate. Let's take for example those that import. The prices can remain static, can still be $1,000 abroad or in China or wherever it may be. But for you to buy that same product after a period of time when the dollar rate has fluctuated within a society, that is going to affect your business, because at the end of the day it's still going to impact on your selling price. And a lot of times, looking at the positive side, an economic growth can mean that people will have more money to spend on consumables. So you see how that either positive or negative that the economy turns out to be is going to affect every business within that society. Now the next is social, that is S. Social stands for cultural, societal beliefs, values, norms that affect the business. Now take for example, there are some countries of the world that believe that beer is like water. It means that you can drink beer even when you wake up in the morning. They don't consider it to be sinful. They don't consider it to be bad or part of a social vice. But if you go to a country that is really invested in religious beliefs, your beer business may not work, may not thrive. Even it may not even be the country, maybe certain states. For example, in the northern part of Nigeria, there are some businesses that cannot thrive. And likewise in the south, depending on their beliefs, depending on their religious beliefs, societal beliefs, cultural beliefs, and every other kinds of beliefs. So S standing for social is also very important. And also looking at the demographics and the psychographics of your audience. What and who they are matters to your business. The T stands for technology. technology is a disruptor. So we can see how the Airbnb has affected hotels. Now, I don't need to be in a place where a lot of people would be, all in the name of lodging. I can take an Airbnb, just a room, serviced. I don't have to see a lot of people. I don't have to be in a constraint of an hotel. And we see how likes of Glovo and some other food aggregating apps have also impacted the restaurant industry. It means I can be hungry here and get my food within 30 minutes at my doorstep. So what happens to the restaurants near me? If they do not evolve and utilize technology, they will die. The next E stands for ecological. And we know by fact that in recent time, a lot of people are aware of the fact that a lot of our actions affect the global warming, affects the climate, and we are all taking steps, actionable steps, to make sure that does not happen. So a good way to look at it is, what kind of packaging do you do for your products? What kind of suppliers do you use? So this informs your procurement and even your packaging solutions. So what kind of suppliers do you use? What kind of packaging? Is it recyclable? Is it eco-friendly? Do you use for your product? Those things would inform the consumers of the kind of producer, entrepreneur that you are. And the last but not the least is legal. If you are ignorant of the labor laws within your industry, you can be creating fouls and you can be sued. You need to constantly be aware of the legal framework that guides your industry and that guides the country that you are in. So please take note of all of the things we have mentioned in this video. PESTEL: political, economical, social, technology, ecological, and legal. Everything I've discussed so far has looked at it from the angle of a society. They are common to every industry in a society. However, there are certain things that are peculiar to your industry. The first I'll talk about today is SWOT analysis, and the second is competitive analysis. So let's look at SWOT. I'm sure most of us have heard about SWOT: strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. How do they work? I like to divide it into two. We have the internal and we have the external. So the internal is the strength and weakness, while the external is the opportunity and threat. How do you check your strength? How do you know what you are good at? How do you know the things that give you leverage in your company as compared to other companies within an industry? So take a look at your business. What gives you leverage? What gives you that strong point? What makes you better than the other companies within the industry? Write it down. It could be your teamwork. It could be founders' experience. That's your own experience. It could be partnerships with companies that offer complementary solutions. It could be your network. It could be funding. It could be anything. Write them down. What are your weaknesses? What are the things that makes you a lesser version of companies within the industry? It could be a new entrant to that industry, which is a weakness. It could be your branding effort is not enough. Be truthful to yourself. Tell yourself the truth as regards weakness. Now look at opportunities. What is common to companies within your industry? It could be technology. It could be finance. It could be even political, affiliations. It could also be government intervention in terms of funding, support, or whatever thing. Look inward into the industry and check for the things that are peculiar to you. Now for the threats, it's also things common to the industry. There could be threats for some countries that have volatile earth crust, prone to volcanoes, natural disasters. That's a threat, because a natural disaster can affect your day-to-day running and operations. It could be threats of artificial and man-made disasters. It could be competition in the industry. It could be the rise of a disruptor like Airbnb to hotel industry. It could be anything. So make your research, check for market trends, check for consumer demographics, what they are into now. What are their new focus? What are the new trends that could impact your industry? You need to be aware of it so that when the storm comes in, you take a proper position. See you in the next class.